Now here's kind of a cool story. So I was just talking to this guy. My mom and dad went to go look at an RV a couple days ago over at this place, whatever. And mainly for my mom. But anyways, so I was over there today talking to one of the guys that work there. I was going to look at a couple of these things for my mom. But so I'm talking to this guy that works there, and I just shooting the breeze. Basically, he's telling me about some story, whatever. So I'm like, yeah, sometimes I go out in the mountains of New Mexico and this and that. And he says, oh, well, he goes, my wife and I, we used to go to the Cochise Mountains in Arizona. It's like old Apache land. And, there's rangers, and there's a ranger station and all this stuff out there, but you can go camp and hike and all this. And he says, strangest thing happened to me. He says, my wife and I were out there, camping, and I had this kind of like a vision, a dream, a vision. And there's this real, nice looking, handsome, tall, Indian man. Most Indians really weren't tall. He said, but this guy was 6'2", he's a tall guy, and this, nice looking guy, he's full, wearing his feathers and everything. This guy, he was an Indian. And he's standing in front of this crack, and he looks at me and he points into the crack. And then I wake up. So I thought, wow, how strange was that? So I had this dream. I didn't even tell my wife about the dream yet. He says, so the next day we wake up, we get up, and let's go ahead and let's go hike, like we were gonna do. And so we get down the trail, we start hiking, and we get over this spot, and I stop, and I'm like, look at that crack. And my wife's like, what about it? He goes, oh man, we got to go over to that crack. So he goes over to the crack, and he says that he starts to reach in, and his wife goes, oh honey, how do you know there's not a rattlesnake down there? Be careful. And he goes, yeah, I don't know, but I don't care. He reaches down into this crack and pulls out a little leather pouch, little small leather pouch about this big. He says he opens it up, and there's just a bag full of Indian arrowheads. Not Indian heads, arrowheads. Like a little pouch, little leather pouch with with arrowheads in it. And he goes, how strange. And she goes, how the hell did you know to do that? He goes, well, I had a dream last night. It was very real. And he said, I was sitting there, and this Indian man came to me, and he described the story again. Nice looking guy, tall guy, full Indian, got his feathers and everything. This guy was an Indian, and he just looked at me and pointed over to the crack. And then I woke up. So when we came over that little ridge or whatever, I see the crack, and I see the little rock next to it. I go, oh my God, that's what I saw in my dream. He goes, that's why I knew. Holy crap, could it be? So I just reached in there. Sure enough, there's a freaking bag of arrowheads. So I'm like, well, what'd you do with them? He goes, well, after we were done camping on the way out of the park or whatever, I stopped, talked to the ranger station. I said, I found these. What do you think this is? And he goes, oh, what is this? He knew they were arrowheads, but the guy's like, oh my God, where'd you get this? He goes, well, there's a crack in a rock that I just stuck my hand down and reached them out. Got them out. He goes, these are legit arrowheads. This is the real deal. It's a whole bag of them. So where was this again? He goes, well, he goes, I'd have to show you. And he's like, well, would you mind showing me? Sure. So he said that he took him over there. And then the ranger's like, what made you stick your hand down in there? And he said, well, so he had to tell the story again. And the ranger says, well, these are the Cochise Mountains. I was from a very old, important Apache chief named Cochise. And very honorable guy, whatever, like, the Indian, very well respected. And he goes, I think you just described seeing Cochise in your dream or whatever that was. So I said to him then, and think about this. If that Indian man came to you in your dream so that you would discover these the next day or whatever, and you did, and you grabbed that pouch out there with your hands and touched those things, if Cochise himself put them there, and it sounds like maybe he did, dude, you just touched those bags when the last person who touched those was a very great, powerful Indian chief, Cochise. You had your hands on his bag and his arrowheads. He goes, yeah, I did think about that. He goes, later on I kind of thought all about that. And I'm like, listen, between me and you, and by the way, it was a very honorable thing, because he said I gave it to I asked the ranger, what do you, if I give this to you, what are you going to do with it? And he said, well, we will keep it here for people to see, and because they got like a little, not a museum, but I guess they got like a little station where maybe some artifacts were found, and as you go into the park, you can see them or something. So he said, I made sure they would not, they were going to keep them, like for people to see. And he said that's exactly what happened. So he said, all right, you can have them. And he says, and from what we've heard now, there's a whole story behind it. Like if you go there, like you may find the story of how these were found. And that was me, by the way. So I'm like, oh, how cool. I was like, well, that's an honorable thing to do, to do that so it can be shared with people. I was like, but I'll be honest, dude, if I got Cochise's bag of arrowheads, that happened to me, I might have had to kept that one. Share it with people and show what I found, but I might have to kept that one. Just because. I'm like, but amazing. So that was just an incredible story that is right in alignment with what I do and want to do in the mountains of New Mexico. And all it took was me happening to run into this guy. And there are a lot of employees at this RV place. Let me tell you something. The number of salesmen, I couldn't believe. I was shocked. How many? Holy y'all are in the wrong business. Y'all are in the wrong business. Get into RV sales. New, used, doesn't matter. Holy crap. And on the way out, they have a 400... dropped $70,000. Save $70,000. Oh, it's only $399,000 for this effing RV, big diesel pusher. And I thought, I'm just gonna go, permission to come aboard, sir. Nobody was on it, so I went ahead and went in it. It's one of those for sale, like a show model, right outside the door. Let me just go take a look. Let me see what, mine's 20 years old. I paid super, super low price on that sucker. And I knew it needed a few, several thousands of dollars to get it the way I like it. Fix that, do that, change all the airbags, and the suspension. Just get, that stuff's 20 years old, fix it, I want it to be right. That's what I'm talking about, my RV, the one I got. And then I saw this thing for $400,000 or whatever. I walked on, walked aboard, looked around. It pretty much has the same stuff all RVs have. There's your little couch, there's your little dinette thing, there's the bathroom, shower, master bedroom with the queen size bed, blah blah blah. Really beautiful, nice tile floor that like is reflective, almost like it was marble. Okay. But at the end of the day, it's $400,000, man. Buy a couple of nice houses. And if you talk in New Mexico, by the way, you could buy about 3 nice houses, at least down in the area where I'm looking. Not up in maybe Santa Fe or Albuquerque perhaps, but you could buy a couple nice houses up there. With that, I'm like, God. And even the one I got, I went and looked. What did this thing sell for? And I think mine was like brand new anyways. Was like $220,000. I'm like, oh God, I hate to be the sucker that had to. And I'm thinking, wow, I actually bought it from an RV dealer who bought it from that sucker. He was the only owner. But when the slide comes out, it's hydraulic, so it's got a little hydraulic leak. They don't make the little actuator things anymore, so I had to get them. The repair shop, they actually, he's like, well, we've got a company that will make them for us. And so he's like, yours has 2, even though one's leaking, we're going to replace both. Yep, I'm with you on that. So he's going over it. And again, I'm looking at everything I've got. Yeah, it's 20 years old. But at the end of the day, it's still a damn diesel pusher. There's probably not much newer technology in this diesel pusher over here. It's just painful to see something for $300,000, $400,000 that I got for an effing fire sale, like the cost of a car. And yeah, I'm putting thousands back into it, even on stuff that it may not really need just yet. Well, go for it. It's 20 years old, do it. I don't want to be having problems later on. Like, just fix it, So I'm going above and beyond what I might have to put into this thing. But even if I told myself, even if I got to put freaking, $8,000-$10,000 into this damn thing, when it's all said and done, well, I've got a pretty, badass RV at this point that'll suit my needs. It may be older, but so what? And now I can take my road trips out to New Mexico myself, pull my stuff behind, and the channel through Julianne was telling me, yep, next year, start planning your trips now, because next year you're going out there, and we see numerous trips out there. You will take your family on some of those trips, and they will enjoy it thoroughly. They need this, okay? And we see you going back to with your compatriots, meaning, I guess, JC and Dave. I'm assuming JC will finally get out of lockdown in Canada, so I assume it'll be him. If it's not, it might be Bill and Dave or something, if JC's stuck. But or maybe Bill come again anyways, who knows? No hurt having him come again. He's good labor. Bill's good strong labor. So that's always, I can always use that, and I've already had him out there. So at any rate, I am looking forward to next year, but I just thought, man, again, I run into this strange guy, he worked there. I run into this guy out of all the employees there, and he's got this story to tell me. Of all people, me? You gonna tell me an Indian story? You found Cochise's bag of arrowheads, dude? The Cochise? I think so. Man, effing awesome. And we were talking a little politics, and I said, my mom's a sidekick. She's been saying since last year Joe Biden's going to step down before the election. She doubled down when he was the nominee and said it again. And he goes, I could actually see that happening right now. I'm like, yeah, tell me about it. Hunter Biden, email scandal, hard drive thing, all that stuff. And I said, I don't know if you saw Judge Janine about a couple months back, month and a half ago, 2 months. She just said on the end of her show, out of nowhere, on Fox News, I've got this strange, this weird feeling. I just can't shake it. I just don't think that Biden's going to be there come election day. And I thought, they're telling you, man. This is all planned. It's all a plan. And my mom done picked up on it a year in advance. I think. Again, maybe it won't happen and that won't matter. I'll be like, nope, false statement. False statement, fake news, J-Snip, you're peddling fake news. But, again, we only got a few more days, week, 2 weeks, whatever. Less than 2 weeks to go. We got like 12 days or something like that. 13 days, somewhere around there. So, again, we'll see. We shall see, my friends. But, since I just made it home, I'm done talking anyways. Take it easy.